Remakes, remakes, and remakes. Seems like they are running out of ideas, right? Nothing new and original have appeared in recent times. Their only options have been to recycle old games and sell them as new, with an update in graphics and frame rate.
Oh, you're killing me here!
Yeah, throw every game into the ray tracing magical transformer and everything looks and feels better. In reality, this is not as bad as everyone thinks. Yes, there is a lot of titles that refuse to leave every single generation of consoles since the time they saw the light. Yes, I'm talking to you, Resident Evil 4 and Skyrim. And don't even get me started with you. You can even run in a pregnancy test, for God's sake. But is it really such a bad idea to keep on doing that? I mean, the fans love when a game from their childhood makes a comeback on the current generation. I personally think that if the remake is done with the intention of give the fans a memorial of the game that they once cherished, then I couldn't be happier that this is happening to so many of those masterpieces of all. On the other hand, we also have seen bad examples of remakes with little to no value in comparison to the original. What all of these ones have done is to enrage players as they expected their favorite games to receive a good treatment after all these years. So what makes a good remake? When a company decides to relaunch a game, they need to know why are they doing it.
Why? Why? Why?
Is it for the money? Well, of course it is, but the money only will come if the player is happy with the end product, which means that quality and fidelity to the source material is a must. Also, changing the game mechanics is a coin flip, as more often than not, fans love the game as it was. They only want a port with an enhancement in graphics, faster load times, and other perks that can make the experience better than the original. Not different, but better. This is where companies often get it wrong. An example of this is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I need to highlight that I enjoyed both the original and the new one. However, I cannot say that the remake is better in any way to the original, because they are not comparable. It's simply another iteration of the same concept. Most of the people have defined this not as a remake, but as a reimagination. And when you go that far from the idea that players fell in love with, that could make them reject it completely.
What did it cost?
Everything.
I don't think that was the case here, as the title was pretty successful. However, the fact that there was no turn-based combat system changing the game at its core. For instance, let's see what Metal Gear Twin Snakes did. In essence, it is the same game. They added some quality of life improvements, but nothing major or game-breaking. Well, except for the first-person shooting. That didn't fit the maps as they were not intended for the player to do that. This game was not so popular as it was launched only for the Nintendo GameCube, but as a remake it is more than decent. Or what about everyone's favorite trilogy, Resident Evil? I gotta say that the first one is a masterpiece. It is everything that you would want from a remake and more. It is an improvement in pretty much everything. Plus, they retain some of their quote lines present in the original that make that game really famous.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
The other two are very different. Resident Evil 2 Remake is, again, a very different game compared to the original. Without time controls and the ability to aim at any point you want, changes the experience radically. I fell in love with the atmosphere and everything looks great in the RE engine, but it is not a replacement to its PS1 counterpart. And the third one, well, it looks pretty without a doubt, and the characters got more depth than the original, but they left behind so much content that it felt incomplete, rushed. They left some of the content in RE2 out as well, but not at this level. Several locations were missing, all the great puzzles gone. Even iconic enemies have also disappeared, and Nemesis is not the same in any way. I'm not just talking about the design, but his introductions lack the mystery and build-up than the original had. So it is clear that this was not a good remake. It is a good video game, but a terrible remake. I guess they are much more appealing to the new generation of players, as they don't have the same level of attachments to the originals as many of us do. And it is fine that they enjoy it. That is why video games are made in the first place. Well, there are hundreds more, but these are some of the examples of how a remake can bring amazing experiences or terrible results. It all depends on the developers and how they approach them. What I can say though is that remakes are a very important side of gaming. Not only they are necessary to put a spotlight to some of the gems from the past and give some input to the current IPs into what players like and what not. This is for sure an era that would last for a while, as those games that makes you fall in love with every aspect of it, games that would be there for an eternity on the list of the greatest, they are getting less and less frequent. As I have stated in previous videos, as long as they keep on making games as a service, none of those titles will ever be there. I wanna see games that include everything since day one. No paywalls, no DLCs, no in-game store, just complete and enjoyable playtime. So if the next remakes have any of those elements, I'm afraid it will always be an inferior version of the original. What remake did you or are enjoying the most right now? Do you think that this is a trend that is good for the industry? Let's have a conversation at the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. Also, leave a like and share this video with your friends. Have a good one.